Hello, this is the Morpheus robot, which will autonomously transform its wheels when it reaches difficult terrain. So this is going to be a demo of the mechanism, the transformation mechanism, in motion. So let's add some motion. So the mechanism works using an arrangement of coaxial shafts. So the idea is that it can transform whilst the wheel is in motion. And hopefully you can see that these components here are moving differentially. There is essentially a hollow shaft which is driving the hub, which is the yellow thing that's rotating, and then a second shaft which is driving a gear, we call it pinion gear, in the middle of this the hub assembly. So now I'm going to highlight some groups of components which move together on the opposite side of the robot. First of all, I'll select this one. So this is what the motor that's driving the hub is doing, and obviously the hub is turning sort of relatively continuously, but the wheel is changing shape. So if we have a look at the other component, which is going through the center of that shaft there it is. That pinion gear is transforming the shape of the wheel when it's moving differentially to the hub. So at this point here, look, I think it's here, or it's here, there we go. The pinion's sort of relatively still, but the hub is still turning, so you get a transformation. There we go. And it's gone back to wheel shape. If I now come over to this side, back over to the near side, I'm going to remove the cover of the hub so you can see inside it. There you go, so now you can see the pinion gear. And if I do the same sort of thing that I've done for the other side, and just firstly I'm going to select the group associated with the hub. There's some sketches in there, if you just ignore those. And then now you've got an idea of how that's moving. If I select the one that's doing the pinions in, you can see this at that point the hub is turning, but the pinion's still, still-ish. There we go. Hopefully you've got an idea of what's going on there. Now I'm going to select the other shaft in the gearbox. There's a third shaft. Those two are coaxial, but there's another one. That one is there. Now that shaft is turning in the opposite direction to the hub, because it's the one that's driving the hub. Okay, so hopefully now you can see in more detail what's going on. If you can see, you can see the solid shaft passing through the hollow shaft, which is that sort of narrow ring inside the bearing there. You should also be able to see there is an encoder wheel on each shaft. Each of those has two opto switches, which one of them is reading the holes on the sort of inner loop, inner ring. The other one is just reading this single segment on the outer loop. By that means you can get an absolute reference as well as a speed reference. And there is one of those per shaft, per motor and shaft, if you like. So the control problem here is to maintain the wheel form whilst moving, because obviously these motors have got different loads on them, different loads, and they're going to have different responses as well, even though they're the same motor. But so the challenge is going to be to use this information and some modelling and software to make the wheel do what we want it to do.